Al, it is time to return to the world of Love Live School Idol Festival All Stars.
Nice. It's been a while. Don't do it. Don't do it.
If only you could see my face right now.
Oh man, what is your face doing?
It was just smug.
I knew what you were gonna do. I
I mean,
know you.
I mean, I would. I'm not going to do that, but you are right. It has been a while since we
No.
last talked about the All Star story.
Oh my god.
Uh,
Amazing.
it
This is
has
why you're my
indeed.
best friend.
Yeah, I'm right.
Also, I knew you were gonna do it because we share one brain cell
Single shared brain cell. That's
that
for
wears
true.
a tiny top hat. I've decided.
That is also for true. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Allen Ladium.
Hello.
This is episode number 245. And we're going to talk about Season 2 of Love Live School Idol Festival All Stars. Because that just finally concluded.
It did. Like last night? Yesterday? Yesterday night?
Something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know. Time's weird.
time's fake. It's an illusion. But oh god, Maxwell, don't fall. Uh he just almost ate it.
He's so
Um
excited.
but it's been like a day or two anyway since it popped up.
Yes. Last time we talked about this here video game and the first season was way back in December of 2020,
Wow.
which I don't remember when this started in Japan. So, because we got an accelerated version of everything kind of coming in a lot faster than normally it would because of the whole merging of the global and Japanese servers together,
Yep.
where they just basically were like, we got to get things done and quick and make sure it's on time so we can do this at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, nearly 10 months ago was when season 1 concluded. There was an intermission in between, and then season 2 rolled on out. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The hotly controversial season 2 of School Idol Festival All Stars.
Yeah, so this has been a big controversy.
Mm-hmm. It's real dumb. That's the main gist of it. It's real dumb. It's like, why?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the subreddit so that I can see like what people think about the cards, and I have to wade through all of the people that are just like, wait, I don't like this. This is bad. This is bad writing, and this is terrible, and I hate these characters. I never want to see their faces again. I'm like, oh my god.
I mean, it's not even just like exclusive to English fans. Like Japanese fans are also like that.
Yeah.
So it's all over the place, and it's like I said, it's real dumb.
Yep.
It's as if these people have never seen conflict in fiction before. Which, man,
What?
if only there was examples you could pull from in the Love Live franchise that shows conflict in fiction.
What?
I know it's a hard thing to just comprehend. Who could have thunk it? Apparently not people.
Not people. I mean, it's not like we've like even in the first Love Live had like a whole conflict about the second years and their shenanigans and
and
like
a
almost
group splintering.
yeah.
It's real stupid. I will just continue to reiterate that. It's real stupid.
It really is. And I feel really bad for honestly two of the voice actresses because their characters like their quote unquote reputations now are like really tainted by all these awful fans.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's not their fault.
No.
Um and like honestly, it's not like they were even like bad characters or like mean to
No.
anybody or anything. Like they gave reasons why everything happened, and Like, is it the best writing I've ever seen? Probably not. But is
It's
it
Love
as bad?
Live.
Is it as bad as everybody's saying it is? No. Like, it's a bunch of high schoolers having a conflict.
Yeah.
That's
I
what it
mean,
is.
like, look, this is like we said, this is a cultural thing that doesn't just stick with one set of people,
Mm-hmm.
but this is an ongoing thing that has been permeated throughout all of social media. The whole there was the whole boyfriend dungeon thing that happened recently, where one of the voice actors for a villain in that game got harassed because of what things the character did,
Oh, geez.
and it's like that's a very this is gonna date myself a little bit. It's a very Tumblr mindset for people to do.
Is Tumblr dating you?
I mean, kind of that place is
It's a ghost town
it's
now,
a
but
ghost town, yes.
um, but yeah, it really is because people need to figure out how to separate like a voice actor who is paid to do this job and like what somebody wrote a character to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also like obviously it's a little bit different with the Love Live girls. But, like voice actors in general don't really get like a lot of respect.
Mm-hmm.
So like be nice to them.
And also, like, if there's conflict in stories and things aren't always going perfectly, that's totally fine. That's the
Totally fine.
way stories have been told for the since the entirety of the of life.
Yeah, I mean, like if everything was always happy and like nothing ever went wrong, like would you really have an interesting story?
No.
Probably not. Like everybody in their life has at least something go wrong occasionally. Whether it's like, oh God, I dropped my keys to like, oh God, my boyfriend's cheating on me and now my life is falling apart. This not real life examples on either thing. I'm just trying to think of something. Um, but regardless, like conflict is how people move forward in stories, but it's also something that's relatable to people because they understand like, oh hey, yes, I understand this mindset, this conflict. I get what's going on here. Um, it would not be a fun story. And like I say this as somebody who like really likes it when girls are like super duper friends and supportive and all that. It would not be a fun story if the second season was just like, all right, cool, we're idols now. Let's just be idols.
Right.
The end. That
Like
wouldn't
the
be interesting.
like season 2 is bold enough because essentially it introduces the first like legitimate villain character in the Love Live series
Yeah.
in a way that like none of the other series have really done before. Like there's been, conflicts here and there, but no one has really achieved villainy status per se.
Right.
And this really kind of tries to go for that, which I applaud them for doing because I think that's a much more interesting way to go about things instead of just being like, oh, we're just going to have an argument in the group and everything and do this sort of thing, which they've done before in other series. They did already in season 1. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to just rehash ideas and everything. So, like, this is a bold or a new direction for this series to go for, and I really think it's an interesting way to do things. But of course, you have to have media literacy to understand that clearly.
What? Media literacy? Get that out of here. Who does that?
Crumple it up and throw it in the trash.
The
The
trash.
trash. So yeah,
It's been a show.
it's real stupid.
Yeah. It's real stupid. And I mean, like I said, I've been trying to wade through like, are these cards any good? Should I do pulls? And it's just like constant nonsense on there. I'm like, ugh, just get over it. Stop playing if you hate it so much.
Yep. Yep. Anyways, let's dive into this here story.
Okay.
I don't remember if we discussed the intermission chapters when we last talked about this game.
I have no idea.
I couldn't tell you. But regardless, that was mostly just a way to have people do things with you being gone.
Yep.
So you get to do a little mini training camp with Muse, and it turns into a little bit of a ghost story.
Mm-hmm.
And then Aqua
It has
shows
some
up.
gremlins being gremlins.
Gremlins are gremlins. Aqua shows up because they're just trading on another island separate to you. They're
Yep.
like, oh, hey, what's up? What's going on? And then basically the other half of the intermission is introducing Lanju and Mia as characters that are going to show up and be prominent in season 2.
Correct.
And you get to hear Mia say,
Except for they translate it differently, even though we clearly hear her say shit.
yes.
I forget what they have her say.
I think it's like just or something.
Or
Yeah.
something weird like that. And it's like I very clearly hear her say
Yes.
like her voice actress speaks English
Mm-hmm.
very well.
Yep.
I know what she's saying.
Yes.
It's a really weird choice. I'm sure it has something to do with the rating, but
Yeah. I know in Japan or in the Japanese version, it definitely just says
yeah.
in the text box at least.
I mean, the audio says it too.
Yes, so I was actually interested to see if they would actually leave that in when it got brought over here, and they actually did, but then they just changed the text box, which again is strange.
Yeah.
But regardless, yeah, intermission is just a little fan servicey thing, and then introducing these characters to be characters,
Yep.
per se. So we begin with chapter 20. That's the season 2 premiere,
Mm-hmm.
and this goes all the way through to chapter 30, which is the finale that just wrapped up. So essentially, season 2 begins with you coming back from her overseas doohickey.
Her I forgot what it was. It was like her like class thing.
Her music course was doing like a thing.
An abroad thing.
Yes, an abroad thing. That's the word I was looking for. She comes back and she sees that there's a performance going on and Lanju's doing it. She's like, oh, what's this? And everything. And then basically everyone kind of fills her in on like, hey, there's this new school idol association that's here. Lanju and Mia are in it. Kasami's real upset about it and everything.
I mean, yep.
She's super mad. And then I and Karen go off and join the association because the club basically gets locked down. They're unable to do live shows. They can't practice with the association being around, so they can't really do anything. So I and Karen are like, well, we have to practice and stuff, so we're just going to go join them.
Yep.
And then Kasumi is very upset by that. It's also worth noting that the association has their own room separate from the club, and it has like all this like super nice stuff in it. Like there's like place where you can have food and everything. There's the practice room that's very exquisite. There's a studio for Mia to write music and everything. It's like it's just all exorbitant.
Is that the word you?
I don't know. It's all very flashy and fancy.
Yeah, it is. It is top tier, top notch.
Yes. So everyone in the club's just like, ugh.
Everyone in the club.
In the club. You and Shiriko have a conversation, and Shiriko's like, hey, Lanju's not a bad person. Just don't think of her as a bad person. Because she's also like, she's trying to aggressively recruit everyone from the club into the association and doesn't really think much of you.
Mm.
She's like, who's this little person who's the president? That's weird. You don't do anything.
Yeah.
So yeah. Afterwards, Honk is like, hey, do you guys want to come to Otonokizaka to practice since you can't practice? That would be nice, right?
Yay.
You can practice on our roof.
What?
On the
Practice
roof.
on a roof? Who practices on a roof in a Love Live series?
I know, it's very shocking. They come together and also figure out, like, what if we hold these, like, live shows where people just show up for them? That way we can get around the band and everything. We can do it in a way that won't make the monitors get alerted and know where we are and everything, so we'll have to do that. So basically they start like spreading rumors like, oh, hey, I hear the club's doing a show here, so they can get people to show up and everything. So they do their first set of those and everything seems to be going real well, but then the association starts doing their own live show and everyone starts leaving.
Yep.
And they go and watch that show, and then Shizuku's like, hey, I'm gonna leave as well.
Yep.
See you later.
Bye.
Controversy. In the sense of like, hey, there's conflict happening, not in the other controversy sense here.
Right. Although people did get mad at Shizuku too.
Yes. Chapter 21 where it begins with Kasumi being very upset by Shizuku and everything.
I mean, they are like super good friends,
Mhm.
so it makes sense that she would feel like a little bit betrayed. But
Yeah. She kind of is very over the top with it because it's Kasumi, but she is
I mean,
genuinely kind of hurt
she
by
is a
this.
gremlin,
Yes.
but she's a hurt gremlin.
Yeah.
She's sad.
She's basically just like, I'm not going to accept you joining the association. You should come back to the club. What are you doing? And she's just like, no, I'm joining the association. And Rita's in the middle, just like, guys, stop fighting. Don't fight.
No.
No fighting. Fighting, no. That fight basically makes Shizuku be like, yeah, I'm doubling down on joining now, so here you go. She joins up.
Opposite reaction of
Yeah.
what you want.
Laundry's like, oh my gosh, you joined, yay. And Shizuku's like, oh my gosh, these practices are hard. What is going on? The rest of the club kind of comes together and they're like, okay, well, let's keep going with what we're doing. We'll figure things out. And then Launju just shows up at lunch and is like, hey, you guys want to join the association? Huh?
Can we poach you?
Can we do that? The rest of the club, they still do their guerrilla gigs, trying to get more fans and everything, keep their momentum. Shizuku's trying to figure out how to do her own performance in the association and is struggling with that. She does a performance and it's good and everything. And she basically finds you and Kasumi after the show and is like, hey, how did you guys think of it? And Kasumi's like, seems like an association show. Whatever. And they fight again. And then Kasumi just like, well, I'm going to do a performance and I'll show you what you're lacking. Take that.
I'm going to show you how to be cute.
Yep. So Kasumi does a performance as well, and this is a very Kasumi performance, but it also like shows Shizuku, hey, you're missing something.
And she's like, there's something very unique about watching Kasumi perform.
So she heads back to the association, and it's just like, I got to figure out what I need to do to find that uniqueness that I'm missing. So Mia and Lanju basically are like, here's a new song for you to perform. You could do this, and you'll be real good. But she's still kind of upset about things, so she goes and talks to you about it to try and figure things out more so.
Mm-hmm.
She goes on to perform that song, the new one that she was given and everything. And afterwards, she's like, hey, I'm going to rejoin the club.
Yep.
I like you guys a little bit better. Kasumi's like, I will reluctantly take you back, I guess.
I guess I'll take you back. They've got that spunk.
Yep.
They've got that little glimmer of something special that she's interested in.
We start chapter 22. Mia's missing.
Rip. Or I guess.
The club gets a lot of comments and stuff about their live shows. They're getting more confident going forward.
Have confidence.
Have confidence. The association, on the other hand, is like, oh man, where is Mia? What's going on with her?
No confidence.
No confidence. Lanju eventually finds her and she's like, hey, can I hear your new song? And he's like, yeah, here you go. And Lanju's like, this isn't good. You need to make something better. Mia's like, all right. I guess. The club does more shows. They also take a look at some of the association shows to just like study them up and see what makes them so good. Got to study the tape. Everyone's like, oh man, these are so good. And Rena's like, They head off to an Aqua show to go cheer them on because they're pals and everything. And they learn more about Mia and her family, which is all just a bunch of like real famous musicians. So like she has all this pressure on her to be, to follow in everyone's footsteps in her family and all that, especially when she's like super young, because she's younger than everyone else in the story because she's like 14. But
she's
like
a second year, but she's like younger.
She could technically be in college essentially, but she's here because she traveled with Lanju because Lanju was like, hey, you're gonna be my songwriter. She's like, all right, I'll join you, I guess.
It's also worth mentioning that she calls you Baby Chan, and I love that.
Yes. Rina goes back to Nijigasaki and ends up finding Mia, who is collapsed because she is hungry. She has not ate. And Rina gets her some food and it's like, what?
I just realized I haven't eaten.
Oh my god, Al.
Sorry. All right, continue.
Al, make yourself food after this.
Okay, remind me.
And then, so yeah, Rina makes her some food, takes this opportunity to basically chat with her, get to know her a little bit better and everything.
They become friends.
The club gets a lot more positive comments about their shows and everything. And then Mia's like, I'm gonna leave a bad comment about them. They're stinky.
I'm gonna be a troll like the dudes on Reddit.
So yeah, she does that and basically doesn't do what she's supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Too busy trolling.
Busy trolling.
Yep. Lonzu becomes unhappy with the association shows. She puts all the blame on Mia because she hasn't finished the song and everything. Mia's like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then I'm gone again. And then everyone else in the club or the association gets worried again. So I runs over to the club and is like, hey, Mia's gone again. Can you help us find her? We don't know where she is. So the club agreed to help I and everything. And then Rena's like, I bet I kind of know where she is because she probably is at the same place she was before. So she heads to the auditorium, finds her, and Mia's kind of just like having a breakdown essentially.
Mood.
So Rena kind of sits there and talks with her, and as Mia just like vents about everything, about like all the pressure she's under and everything. And Rena's like, all right, well, I'll help you out. We'll figure something out to, get you that passion for music back that you're clearly lacking and have kind of been burnt out on. So Rena kind of goes back to the club and comes up with this idea that they should stream their next show, and they're all going to do them all in like various locations, which is a very wild way to do this.
Yeah, it's so weird.
And then she also suggests like, hey, we should have Mia take part in this. So they do all that. Rena like helps her with a song and everything. Mia performs her new song at the very end. Everyone's like, wow, you can sing and everything. That's cool.
And she sings like in English and Japanese in the song, right?
Yes.
Which is pretty cool. I forget what the name of the song is, but
I also do.
Hold on. Keep talking. I'll find it.
Yeah, you can look it up.
I know where to look.
Yes. So yeah, she performs a song. Everyone's very surprised by it, and it helps Mia kind of like find her passion for music again. And also, her and Rena get to be friends.
They're really good friends after this, which is really cute.
Yeah.
I like their friendship a lot.
And a lot of this like chapter as well kind of is like it's the building of Mia as a character and everything, but also gives Rena some more character development as like someone coming out of her shell and like actually going out and helping someone, finding a new friend in a way that like, originally she would not have been able to do.
Correct.
We head into chapter 23.
I'm Still is the name of her song.
That is
Queendom
correct.
is Lanju's song, and I'm Still is Mia's.
Yes. Ai's trying to, deal with all her feelings regarding everything that's been going on lately. Shiriko goes to the club, tells them about stuff that's happening as well. I and Karen have a discussion about how Lanju and Setsuna are kind of like very different from each other in terms of like how they perform, but they are able to put on these like very wild and just excellent shows that no one else can do. And they're trying to figure out how do we ascend to that level essentially. So I kind of comes with this idea of like, let's put both groups in competition with each other and see who's best. And that way we will be able to perform against them, we'll compete against them, and maybe we'll be able to figure out like who's the better idol essentially. So she basically comes up with this idea. She calls everyone together and is like, hey, this is what I want to do. The club basically has to also come together and be like, okay, do we want to do this or not? Where some of them do, some of them don't. Setsuna, Kasumi, Shizuku, and Rina are like, we'll join this tournament. Whereas Ayumu, Kanata, and Emma decide they don't want to. Which I think Emma's like the first one is like, no, I don't want to do this.
Which makes sense for Emma.
But they're going to help the others get prepared for the tournament.
It would also skew pretty hard towards the club if they all agreed to do it. So
yeah, true. So they both work together to create the show. The association and the club kind of come together for a brief bit. Karen tries to talk to Emma before the event, and it's not good.
Which is sad because they're like besties before this.
Because they haven't really been able to talk much because of the whole splintering of the group.
Right.
And then Karen's like, hey, what's going on? This is a very awkward situation. Not going well.
Nope.
Karen tries to talk to Kasumi about it, and
Which that's an interesting combo.
Yeah, doesn't really help a lot. But she decides like, oh, I need to show Emma my feelings through this performance that I'm going to have later on. I decides that she wants to do a training camp with Karen to prepare for the event, which leads to things later on in the season, obviously.
Yep.
And then at the end, IMU, Kanata, and Emma host a draft to create the matchups and everything, which eventually end up being Rina taking on Shizuku taking on Lanzu, Kasumi versus Karen, and Setsuna versus Shioriko. Defeats Rina in their matchup. Lanzu defeats Shizuku, which Shizuku very much was like adamant, like, I want to face Lanzu.
Yeah.
Because like I was in the association with her. I want to see how much I've grown since then, and I want to be able to see how I stack up against her.
Mm-hmm.
Kasumi defeats Karen, which Karen was not expecting.
Her.
Yeah, she's
Devastates
like,
her.
how did I lose this? What is going on? And Kasumi's like, I'm cute.
That's
me.
how.
But it's like, I think it's also like a very close vote.
Yeah.
But Kasumi is able to pull it off in the end. And Setsuna defeats Shioriko because it's Setsuna.
Yeah.
They take a lunch break in between after the first round and go over everything that's been happening. Mia and Lanju also visit the club, and Mia talks about how she's confused why Lanju wants to be in this tournament when it's like doesn't really mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
We can move into the second round where Setsuna defeats Ai, which really kind of breaks down Ai as well, because Ai really wanted to beat Setsuna. I think that's her goal. That was her goal going into this, was I want to face Setsuna and I want to beat her.
Yep. Like that's been her goal since the very beginning, is that she wanted to defeat or be better than Setsuna in her eyes, and she still can't do it. So like you get the one CG of her just like with tears in her eyes. I'm like, oh no. Poor girl.
Lanzu goes up against Kasumi and wins as well, which leads up to the Lanzu and Setsuna final matchup, which Lanzu eventually ends up winning. And everyone's like, yay, this was a fun time. And Karen's like, oh, I don't know about this.
This was not very fun.
This is not very fun. That leads us into chapter 25.
25?
Setsuna and Yu go over to help Shioriko with student council work. And they're like, hey, what's going on with Karen? She seems real brooding and not good.
Yeah.
Karen basically kind of like doubles down on practicing a lot and like, I gotta make myself better. Like if I compare myself against Setsuna or Lanzu, like I am not as good as them. I need to be better. I gotta do this, which is not healthy.
Nope.
Emma goes to see Karen because she's like concerned about her and is like, hey, is everything going okay? And then Karen like pushes her away because she's very stressed out, and she clearly doesn't mean to, but like,
I mean, it's hurtful regardless of whether she meant to or not. Like it was, her emotions got the best of her. Yeah, it's gonna hurt regardless.
Karen immediately is just like, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh no.
Whoops.
And basically just like, I'm not going to go to school because I can't emotionally go there. I'm not prepared to do it. I can't face Emma right now.
Yeah.
So Emma's also upset because she feels like she hurt Karen. And essentially Kanata has to step up and be like, all right, I need to fix things with these two. I got to figure out what's going on, bring them back together because this is not going well. I gotta wake up
long enough to do this.
Yes. So Kanata kind of like listens to Emma. She goes out and seeks Karen and is like, hey, we're going to go to this live show of Haruka's and, you know, get you to just kind of get out of your head a little bit to see what an idol show can be without all this pressure on you. And then Karen's like, oh, wow, I've been acting real stupid lately. What have I been doing? Can I go be by myself? And Kanata's like, no, we're going another place. They go to this little park and they see Emma like hanging out with some kids. And Emma just like sings a song for them. And Karen's like, oh my God, this is so good. And Emma notices her and they embrace again. And then afterwards they go out and like have food and chat about like, you know, what they want to do with their future, what their ambitions are of being idols and everything. Essentially, it's, you know, get everything back on the right track. Choo-choo.
Catch up as well.
Yes. Karen does her own show afterwards where she's able to kind of show off these emotions to everyone and use like, yo, she's so good. She's great.
What a great girl. I love all of you.
Yep. That's the you way.
It's true.
Chapter 26. Shioriko's sister, returns, and Shioriko's like, "Oh no."
Oh no.
She's coming back to be like a teacher essentially,
Yeah, I
and
think
also
she's like a teaching assistant, isn't
yeah,
she?
she also announces she's making this big event where they're gonna have representatives from each school that are voted on by the students and everything, and they're all gonna come together and compete against each other at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So both groups are getting prepared for these auditions that are going to be held later on down the road. Yu helps Kaoruko like get ready for the event, do like logistics and all that sort of stuff. And then Kaoruko sends them both groups off to a training camp. She's like, "Go prepare, work together." This is also where they had the last training camp and the intermission,
Mm-hmm.
which Yu wasn't there for, but now she gets to be here for one.
Yay.
Everyone's just like, "Oh God, ghosts are gonna be here." The association members are like, "Huh?
Huh?
What are you talking about?"
Ghosts?
Um, the first day's training regimen that Kaoruko gives them is like very exhausting. They have to figure out who can cook, which basically just it winds down to being, "Hey, Kanata, cook food for us."
Yeah, Kanata can cook, and that's about it.
That's all we need.
Please keep Setsuna out of the kitchen.
Yes, Karen and I do their own little performance because they've been practicing together, and everyone's like, "That was really good." Also, I don't know if we need to do this as solo idols. What if we do something like they're doing and everything? So basically, the rest of the club kind of splits off into two groups, where Emma gets Kanata, Kasumi, and Rina, forms them into a group, and then Ayumu, Setsuna, and Shizuku team up together. Which obviously, these are the Nijigasaki subunits,
Yes.
but they are implementing them into the story, which is also a first for a Love Live franchise, because usually these subunits are just kind of ignored, except for
Right,
like
they're-
little
they're
Easter eggs
just-
here and there.
Side stuff.
Mhm.
But no, these are like canon subunits now.
Yeah, and they even like name drop the actual names later on in the season as well. So like it's super official.
Yep.
So they splinter off into these subunits and everything, and they talk to you about it, and they're like, "Hey, can you write songs for us?" And he's like, "I mean, yeah, but like I haven't really wrote group songs before, and I don't really know how to do that. So yes, but this might be tough."
I also think it's funny, just as a side note, that Ayumi, Setsuna, and Shizuku are like, well, I guess everybody else teamed up. So do you guys want to be a group? Because we're all that's left. Like they
"All
really
right."
just have no like real reason other than, well, everybody else did, so let's just be our own group.
Yep.
It was funny.
Yu has a hard time kind of figuring out how to write these songs. She goes off and like walks on the beach trying to like clear her mind and everything, but still just very like She goes back and tries to sleep, is unable to sleep, and runs into Mia, who's like able to like, "Hey, let's talk this out. I'll help you figure out exactly how to do group songs and everything, give you kind of a new perspective on composing and all this sort of stuff. And you can tell me about how you compose, because I still understand it."
Yep.
Yu's able to eventually write these songs because of Mia's help, and then training camp ramps up.
Yay.
Ramps
training
up.
camp. Ramps up.
Chapter 27 is a whole lot of Shioriko trying to figure out her relationship with her sister,
Yeah.
because she feels like they are just the complete opposite from each other and cannot handle her. She's like, "I don't know what to do."
I mean, they kind of are, so.
Yes. She's also beginning to like kind of struggle at practice because of Karen and I's performance, and she's starting to like, "I don't know, how do I compare myself to them?" Kaoruko shows up at the association, is like, her and Lanzu is like yelling a bunch of advice to Shiriko, and Shiriko's like, "Can't handle this, I'm out of here, I gotta go."
Nope.
And she just flees to the club
Yep.
where she sees Kanata and Haruka together, and she's like, "Oh wow, they're actually closest sisters. That's weird, I don't understand that." So she kind of explains to everyone like how she feels about Kaoruko, and is like, "Yeah, we're just very different from each other. I don't know how to fix this, or if it's fixable, or what I should do." So essentially everyone kind of comes together and is like, "All right, we're gonna take you on a sister meeting."
Sister meeting.
So they grab everyone that has sisters from Muse and Aqua as well, and just they all go to a diner and like, "All right, Shiriko, let's talk about sisters."
Let's talk about sisters. It's really funny.
It's really good. Kanata afterwards is like, "Hey, do you want to come over to my place? You know, you can beat Haruka. We can give you some advice on how to deal with the situation, and, you know, cook you a nice meal." So Shiriko's
Nice.
like, yeah, cool, I'll do that. Uh,
Nice.
Essentially afterwards, she kind of realized like, okay, I need to tell Kaoruko how I feel, and I need to find a way to do that. So she goes to you for more advice, and you's like, hey, why don't we collaborate with the association? We'll make you a new song. We'll put those feelings out there into the world, and that way you can show your sister how you feel via performance and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's like, cool, we'll do that. They're setting up for her live show and everything, and Lanju's like, oh, why don't you do all this crazy lighting? You could be like doing a trapeze act in the sky and everything. You could do all this wild stuff. And Shiriko's like, no, I can't do that.
Nope.
Definitely cannot do that. I'm not you. And Lanju the whole time is like, no, you can. I know you. You're my best friend. Like, I believe you could do this. Why don't you think you could do this? And Shiriko's like, no, I can't do this. I'm not you. And Lanju keeps kind of like pushing the issue, and Shiriko eventually is like, no, stop. Leave me alone. I need to figure this out myself. And then Lanju's like,
I'll do it my way.
you're also just going to think I'm special, aren't you? Okay, well, I'm just going to leave.
Goodbye.
Everyone's like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Shiriko has her performance. She starts talking about stories with her and her sister and everything, and then goes into her new song. And then afterwards,
Kawaii Canaria.
yes. And afterwards, Kaoruko's like, wow, that was really good. I didn't realize you had all these feelings bottled up inside you. We should probably fix that. we should probably sort this out.
We should probably have a little chat.
Yeah. So they're able to kind of patch things over
Good for them.
and kind of like start anew, essentially. Chapter 28, Lanju didn't show up to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially she's like, yeah, I'm leaving.
I'm out.
I'm disbanding the association. I'm leaving Nijigasaki. I'm done. She does this and doesn't really tell anyone.
Yep.
And then the association members come to the club and they're like, hey, we can't get a hold of Lanju. Something's wrong. Can you help us? And the rest of the club members are like, yeah, but also like we really don't know her, so we're gonna need help as well. Lanju kind of just like walks the streets and is like reflecting on her time. She remembers. Yes, the Charlie Brown music plays in the background. She kind of like reflects and remembers about like going to the School Idol Festival and seeing everyone perform, especially Nijigasaki at the end, and being just completely awestruck by them and being like, oh, I want to perform with them. I want to be friends with all of them.
I want to be that.
I want to do that. And then once she gets to the school, she kind of just tries to do that, but is very just overt about it and just tries to steal everything, but unaware of that she's doing like not the way that she should be doing things.
She's self-sabotaging by trying to do it in this like very over-the-top obsessive way.
Yes. She does a final show and then just stops coming to school. Yep. And after the show, everyone's like, oh, that was so good, man. It'd be awesome if we could perform with her. That'd be awesome. And then afterwards, they're like, oh, she's going back to Hong Kong. That's not good.
Nope.
So they go and head off and talk to the chairwoman, which is her mom.
Yep.
They're like, hey, what's going on? And her mom kind of explains things. So they're like, all right, we gotta stop her from leaving. We gotta do this. So Mia comes up with this idea of like, I'm going to make a new song that's going to basically force her to stay. She's going to hear it and be like, I have to stay and do this song. And the idea is that she wants to do a song with Lanju and Shiriko as well. So they're going to do like a trio song, essentially. And in order to do that, she basically is like, all right, I need everyone's help. Tell me your memories of Lanju. I will put them into the song. That way, you know, when she hears it, she'll be overcome with emotion and she'll rush back to us. So they send her the song. Lanju doesn't listen to it.
Nope.
They still can't find her.
Nope.
They also learned, hey, she's leaving like today.
Yep.
She's on the plane. And then, so she's on the plane just waiting. She's like, oh, I'm very wistful about things. It's probably the right time to go. She finally decides, hey, I'm going to listen to the song. She'll listen to the song and is like, oh, crap. This is good.
Yep.
Oh, my God. So everyone rushes to the airport to try to stop her, but the plane's taken off. There's bad weather and everything, so they're like, oh, we failed. But they don't realize that the bad weather diverted her plane back, so she's back in the airport waiting for her plane to take off again, and she runs into everyone, and they're like, where were you? Why did you leave? She's like, huh? And like everyone is very just like, oh, you're back, yay. She's like, huh? What's going on?
Why are you guys like me now?
I have friends. Friends.
Friends?
And Shiriko and Mia are just like, hey, we're going to perform the song together. You're not leaving. She's like, okay. So they go back to school and perform the song Monster Girls. And
Which is a really good song.
everyone's hunky-dory.
I will say, like, we get an explanation here on like some of Lanzu's character and motivation. I do think that the like I am so perfect at everything and I can't make friends because of it is a little contrived and kind of lame.
Yeah.
Like I think that like if they had established it in a way that like she had a hard time making friends and that now she has like some kind of like influence and reach and obviously the money to do it, that she like has been trying to like buy friends and it's been failing. I think that would have been more compelling and interesting than just I'm too perfect for everybody.
But I think as well, she's just delusional.
Well, yeah, she is definitely delusional.
No, like in the fact that like she thinks everyone is her friend regardless. So
Yes.
like she comes here, she's like, all right, I'm going to make this association. They're all going to be my friends. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
She doesn't realize like selfishly like, oh, I'm doing these just weird and bad things that are going to push people away, because why wouldn't people want to be friends with me?
Right.
I'm this cool. And essentially she always assumes that she's friends with everyone. Even like, she doesn't really assume she's friends with you. But everyone else she's friends with and everything.
She's not friends with me? What?
I know. How dare she?
I know.
So like once she kind of goes through her transformation on the plane and everything and kind of realizes, oh, I was kind of an
Yeah.
I kind of did some things that like once everyone kind of comes back and is like, hey, you're back and everything, she's kind of like awestruck because she's like, oh, people actually kind of actually do care about me, because like she's delusional in the fact that like, you know, she wants everyone to be friends and thinks that's the case, but also has this realization that like I'm genuinely pushing people away through my actions, and that's real bad. No wonder people don't want to be around me, like because I have a terrible attitude about things and I make everything just about myself. So of course people are going to leave me. Yes. So like I agree with you that like it is kind of contrived, but I think there is like some nuggets here and there to make it like not super cliche or just tropey for the sake of being tropey.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good there. I think it just could have been polished
Totally.
It was.
I think it kind of just gets rushed because we run into the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that leads us to the penultimate chapter, chapter 29. Everyone's like, wow, that show was awesome. Whoa, cool show. And then afterwards, Lanzu is very confused because she doesn't understand you. Because she's like, I've been real bad to her. Yet she keeps coming up to me and be like, yo, your performance was awesome. It was all really cool and everything. And like, why would she be like this? So she goes off and talks with IMU about this. And IMU's like, I mean, that's just you. She really loves School Idols. So like, of course she's going to be like a fan of yours and everything. And Lanzu's like, oh, huh. Interesting.
She loves School Idols too. I also love School Idols.
Whoa.
What?
Lanzu does another solo performance where she officially disbands the association, and then afterwards she brings all the other association members with her. It's like, hey, we're joining the club now.
Yep.
Yay. So we get that whole situation's resolved, and now everyone's like, all right, we got to get these School Idol exhibition auditions ready and everything. So all of the groups kind of come together and work, despite, you know, them being different subunits and everything, and they're going to be competing with each other. Mm-hmm. They all work together because they want to put on the best performances that they can. All the while, Yu kind of has this like nagging feeling in the back of her head, like, am I actually doing things that help people? Am I contributing to this group? Should I be the president of it? Like, what am I doing here, essentially?
I'm not actually a School Idol, so am I the right person to be leading this? And
yes. So she keeps having those thoughts and just prevailing in her head, and she finally talks to IMU about it, and they both kind of just like talk about how you brought her into the world of School Idols and everything, and how IMU really just wanted to be a School Idol because you was like, hey, I'll be your fan and everything. They have like just a big conversation about all of that happening, and then the rest of them kind of come together and talk to her about it, and they're like, hey, you are very important to us. If you weren't here, we would not be as good as we are. Like, we want you around. So she kind of comes to the conclusion, like, okay, what I'm doing is also school idol activities. I'm working with them. I deserve to be here. Like, I should be here with them. So they go through the auditions and everything. Some friends of theirs show up, which is like, I think Ai's friend and Emma's friend show up.
Yeah.
And they do all their performances. This chapter was interesting because, like, halfway through it was like, are they gonna give themselves an excuse to make you an idol?
Right.
So they could have Hineki do more stuff,
Yep.
put her in the game essentially. But then afterwards, there's like, no, we're not going to. I think I would have been fine either way.
Yeah.
I think I'm more surprised that they stuck to their guns and were like, no, we're not gonna make this character a school idol.
I am too, because they have an actress for her and they're not doing anything with her.
They have an actress for her, an actress who can sing
Yeah.
and who can do all the stuff that everyone else does.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, at this point, like, sure, go ahead and do it. But they were like, nah, we're not going to.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It is. I'm sort of bummed because I would have liked to have her more incorporated rather than just in the anime. And this is me purely just wanting more of the voice actress than
totally
anything else, really.
I mean, if you talk to those girls, they will tell you there's 13 members of Nijigasaki. So,
right.
Like, I know, like, a lot of the stuff Hineki does is, like, the anime stuff, but, like, I mean, they've went out together with, like, Boe P, who's not in the anime, but they've all, like, they all kind of come together, like, hey, we are all part of this group, so.
Right.
I think at some point they'll eventually do something that kind of clashes these two universes together more so, whether it's
I'm sure they
with
will.
season 2 of the anime adding these characters or what. But also I think at some point they just kind of have to make it not just weird and segmented.
Right.
But yeah, that leads us to the season finale, chapter 30. As we get the post-audition performance stuff where everyone's like, yeah, we had a really good time and everything, but, like, who do we vote for?
Yeah.
They were all good. Very confused. Lanju, as the new member of the group, wants to get closer to everyone. She really wants to be friends with Kasumi.
Which is hilarious.
She really wants Kasumi to call her senpai. Kasumi's like, oh no, but Lanju's like, but it'll be really cute. Like, Kasumi's like, oh.
She also gives Mia a nickname that's like Miyako.
Mm-hmm.
And at first she's like, I don't know. And then she realizes like, oh, it matches Rina's nickname. So yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yep.
This is cool. Now we're buddies.
Yep.
It's cute.
Mm-hmm.
I love how attached she is to Rina.
Yeah, it's real good.
It's really, really cute. I mean, like, it's neat how it's not Rina. Like, Rina is obviously her friend, but like Mia is the one who's like, I want to hang out with Rina. I want to be around her. I'm excited to have a matching nickname with her. Like, it's somebody else pursuing Rina instead of Rina having to pursue a friendship, which is how I was in the beginning. And I really appreciate that these people are like, this girl rules and I'm happy to be friends with her. It's cute.
I wonder how they're going to mesh Mia into, like, the year groups, because technically she is a second year.
She's a second year.
But she's friends with Rina, so, like, will she mesh more with, like, the first years? Because, like, she's younger, so, like, she would mesh more with that age group than the second years. So, like, that's going to be interesting. Like, they're already kind of pushing Lanju into the third years, because that would make sense, obviously.
Yes.
So I wonder what they do with Mia, per se.
I'm gonna guess that she hangs out more of the first years.
Yeah. I mean, her and Kasumi always are just giving each other shit, so it would make a lot of sense.
Right, and she's friends with Rina, and like Rina and Kasumi and Shizuku all hang out anyway, so.
Yeah. And she knows Shizuku now, so, from the association, so there's that. So yeah, that was a fun thing. I really like how Kasumi's like, oh, I've got it wrapped around my finger now, and then like someone else is like, I don't think that's the case here.
Yeah, nope.
I think it's the other way around.
Yep.
You kind of also comes to the decision like, I don't really want any of the other group. I don't want one group to win over the other, so I don't know what to do. I want to let me figure out a thing like what do School Idol fans like about School Idols, like collectively.
This is also where the subunit names are name dropped
Yes.
because they're like, "Hey, you're gonna vote for this one, right? You're gonna vote for this one." It's like, I can't vote for any of them. I don't know that I'm gonna vote.
I mean, there's also voice lines that also, I think, name drop them as
Yes,
well.
correct.
But yes, it is around this time where they're like, let's just throw them in this text message exchange.
Hmm.
So yeah, you kind of is like, all right, I'm going to study up and research, like, why do people like school idols? What makes them tick? Maybe I'll throw it into a song or something. So she goes and talks with Ai's friend Misato, talking about Ai and everything, about how Ai's changed through being a school idol and everything, how she's like, pushing herself forward in a way that she hadn't before. And
How
also
she
kind of
was like devastated when she lost to Setsuna.
she's making herself more vulnerable in a way that she wouldn't before, but it's
Hmm.
also helping her become, a better idol and a better person.
Hmm.
She talks with the people that work with Shiriko. I forget what their titles are, but she talks with them, and then she eventually runs into Setsuna, who's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go see a Sentai movie with my mom," and
This
he's
is
like,
so cute.
"Cool. Wait, with your mom?" And she's like, "Yeah, I told my parents the stuff I like and everything, and now I'm an idol and all this stuff." And they were like, "Cool, we'll support you." And I was like, "Awesome." So they're like, more accepting of things, and that's rad. And I feel like real good about it. Got this weight off my shoulders and everything. It's awesome.
I was so happy for
Mm-hmm.
her. I was so happy. She looked so pleased that like she could just be herself now, and
Yep.
it was really great because like it's obviously been something that's bothering her. Like
Mm-hmm.
we've seen that in her like side stories and all, but like this was a very freeing moment for Setsuna that I think is an important thing for her.
Yeah, definitely. Also, she forgets what time it is, and you's like, "Hey, don't you have to go meet your mom?" She's like, "Oh no,
I gotta go see this
I gotta
movie.
go."
Bye.
You also mentions how she's gonna go meet Emma's friend, and Emma's like, "Hey, why don't we go to her photo studio? We'll all get a new picture for the club."
Hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, let's make it into a big poster, put it on the wall, frame it." And they're like, "I don't think we can make a frame that big.
Nope.
We don't have the room for that.
Nope.
Can't do that." So yeah, they all head there. They're all talking about where they're gonna position themselves in the photo and do cool poses. And Renee's like, "I have to be in front. I'm short. You will not see me if I'm in the back."
Mood.
So Yu takes this opportunity to talk with Mai while they're all setting up and everything, and they have a chat about Emma and how Mai's experience with being an idol and how she was able to pass on a song and all this sort of stuff, and how that resonates with her as being a former idol and now a fan, and how she can describe that story to you, who can now describe that story to others, essentially.
Hmm.
Uh, IMU essentially blabs about what Yu's been doing because Yu talks to IMU about it, and she
Hmm.
tells the others, and they come up to her like, "Hey, what are you doing? You trying to write a song about feelings? You know how you figure out songs for us? You interview us, detailed interviews. We're going to do that to you now."
Yep.
They're like, "It's very embarrassing," and Yu's like, "No, it's not that embarrassing." And then like it cuts to afterwards. She's like, "Oh my god, this is so embarrassing."
Yep.
How do I do this to you guys?
Ah.
But essentially that helps her figure out, like, kind of wrap up the song and put a little boo on it.
Boo.
IMU stops by Yu's place and helps her out with the song for a little bit before going back home. She's like, "Don't stay up late. Work out on the song." And Yu's like, "I won't." And it's like next day, "All right, I finished the song." Oh no, it's morning.
Oh no, I'm gonna send this a crash out.
Yep. She's just like, "All right, I'll send this, and then I'm going straight to sleep."
Nice.
And then like a few hours later, she just hears her phone constantly going off, and is like, "Huh?" And you just see the reactions from everyone being like, "Oh my god, this song rules. We gotta go to the school and talk about it." And then she's like, "Oh, I gotta get up and go to the school." All right. She like walks in the club room, and I think Emma's like, "Hey, did you sleep at all?" And he was just like, "Not really, but I'm here." So yeah, they're all very excited about it. They want to hear it. They want to all perform it together. And they're like, "But wait, we can't perform it together because that would defeat the whole purpose of the exhibition and the voting and everything. What if we just do that anyways? Who cares?
Yeah.
If they disqualify us, they disqualify us. Oh well." We will show them we will show them through this song what Nijigasaki is all about.
Mm-hmm.
So they show up to the exhibition performance thing to show off who's going to be the group representing Nijigasaki, and Kaoru's like, all right, who'd you guys pick? And Yu's basically like, all right, look on stage. And it's like all of them there. She's like, huh? What's going on here? And they perform their new song with all 12 members.
L L L.
They took an L in that one.
Love the life we live. Which is a really good song.
Yes, it's real fun.
It's really, really fun.
So they perform that, and everyone's just like, whoa!
That ruled! As they should.
Kaoru's ecstatic about it. She's like, yeah, totally. You guys can all be the reps. That's cool.
Yep.
I'm for it.
I'm into it.
And then she explains to you, like, hey, she's like, here's why I wanted to do this, because I want more people to be School Idol fans. And then you guys kind of just came in and were like, here's how to be a School Idol fan and why people should be School Idol fans. And like, whoa, cool. And then at the end, you kind of monologues about the events of everything that just happened over the course of the season, I should say, not just like the last chapter.
Immediate, yeah.
Yeah. And just like, here's everything that happened. It was wild and everything, but at the end of the day, we came together and did it.
Yay.
And then after the performance, everyone's just relaxed and chilled in the club room. Kazumi's like, why is everyone so relaxed? What's going on? President, you're not relaxed too, are you? Kasumi, it's good to be here. No. But they are like, all right, we could relax for this moment, but also we have a lot of work ahead of us to do because we have the actual event coming up.
Yep.
So we got to make a PV for this. We got to get this song down and everything. We got to practice. Also, we're going up against not only just a lot of School Idols from around the country. We're going up against Muse and Aqua as well.
Yep.
So we got to be on the tip top of our game.
Yep.
And that's how we end this season.
Man.
I think that's going to be fun for next season to put everyone in competition with each other. Because essentially this is what this whole story has been building to, is that Nijigasaki needs to find themselves as a group.
Yep.
And then eventually they have to go up against the groups that have, what's the word I'm looking for? Inspired them.
Mm-hmm.
They have to prove if they're, worthy of being in the same conversation as those two just mega groups. And I think it's the kind of thing that, like, you can really pull off in a game like this. Yeah. Like, it'd be much harder to do it in anime, although, like, you could do it. Yeah. You just have to make it, like, non-canon and fan servicey, which I will, let's talk about Dragon Ball here for a second.
Oh, boy.
There is an anime, I believe it is Dragon Ball Heroes, which I think is based off of a card game. So it's all just a bunch of, like, non-canon stuff, but it's a way for them to, like, put all of these characters from, like, different ages or different groups or just, like, different forms of characters all together in one show in a way that, like, you couldn't do in the actual main show. So, like, it's just a bunch of fan service, essentially, but, like, it's a way to see, like, all these weird characters interact with each other that would never interact with each other. And I feel like that's kind of what we're going to be building towards with the next season, where you would never see Aqua and Muse compete against each other. You would never see Nijigasaki compete against either of these two groups.
Right.
And now we're going to get to see that.
Nice.
And I'm excited to see what that does for Nijigasaki, because obviously this is their story that we are being told.
Right.
And how this is going to how this is going to, like, make them better, or, like, make them find new ways to be better. Because obviously when you're going up against former Love Live champions, you have to be at the very best. You have to be at the top of of everything that you do.
Yep.
Can't slack.
Nope.
And I'm real curious to see how that all goes, especially because, it's a 12-member group now.
Yeah.
So is everyone still going to be able to get along? Are they all going to be able to mesh well?
As long as you're going to calm down.
Yeah. And how is that going to work against these 9-member groups?
Right.
I think there's a lot of interesting storytelling that we can potentially see in season 3. And I'm real excited to see where that goes.
I am also excited. I'm just interested to see where it's going to go and what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Because I legit have no idea. Like, I know we're going to go into this exhibition, but, like, I don't know what's going to happen. And I mean, like, obviously the beginning of this was a curveball for Japan. It wasn't as big of a curveball for us because we saw the reaction. Um, but like that was a crazy way to start the whole thing. So like I'm interested to see like what kind of shenanigans we're gonna get into next.
Yeah, I wonder if like because obviously Muse and Aqua were like very much on the outside looking in for season two. Like this was
Yes.
very much the Nijigasaki story this time. Like I wonder
Yep.
if we're gonna go back and get more stuff with them in season three because we were building up towards this big event.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll need to see like what they're doing potentially, or if it'll
Yeah,
just be more Nijigasaki preparing and them kind of just popping up here and there.
it's a good question.
Yeah.
Um, and also like, how do you make all this happen without making people mad?
That's a great question.
And I'm not sure I know the answer to that at all because like if you have one of the older groups when somebody's gonna get mad because like, oh, well, it wasn't my older group.
Well, I guess it depends on like what the conditions are for this event.
Correct.
Like, is there like an overall winner, or is it just hey, we're showing off school idols?
Right, right. I mean, it's a whole like question of what is actually happening here at this exhibition. But
Which, if it's an exhibition, that implies that like this is not like a competition, or like it's not a competition in the sake that like it's an official competition where people are going to be taking this very seriously, where there's like a champion and everything. Like it's just a it's a fun time where everyone
yeah.
gets to compete, but not there's no real winner per se. Which I think I could
Mhm.
see them doing that as a way to kind of subvert that, not subvert that, but like get around the idea of like, oh, we have to make one of these three groups win. And I
Yeah.
think you can also do that as a way to show off like, all right, Nijigasaki has been doing well in the growing as a group, but once they go up against Fuse and Aqua, they are still not ready, and then the rest of the season is them really trying to push forth the effort of getting into that mindset and getting better and getting up
Right.
to that top tier echelon.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Sorry, I coughed on you.
Who are you? Mutamax?
God. I'm sorry, buddy.
But yeah, I there's definitely a variety of ways you could go about this. I'm just very excited because I want to see these groups compete against each other.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would say that's been a thing that they wanted to see in this series for a long time, is
Yes.
to see like the big groups actually go up against each other and see how that goes narratively.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a very intriguing time to see where they go for season three. Also, I guess we will see if there's an intermission again between season two and three
Ah, right.
and what they do there, which that would make sense just to give a little break and here have some fan service fun stuff
Yeah.
before diving back into everything else.
Some more story and drama.
More story and drama. So yeah, that is season two of School Idol Festival All Stars. Lanju and me are also will have already been added to the game by this point, I believe.
Yeah.
By the time you're hearing this,
I definitely like the first thing that I did when I realized that they're like sort of in there already. So I was like, what if I just starlight them now?
and you can.
And you can, and it's fun.
They also have icons now,
Yes.
which is cool.
And they have the new art.
Mm-hmm. They are
So
officially official. Like they're I guess for us later on, or I guess in the morning
mhm.
times, they are joining up with for a live stream
Oh wow,
with
really?
some of the other Niji gals.
Cool.
It is Mia, Rina, Ayumu, Emma, Shiriko, and Lanju.
Oh wow.
So I'm sure we'll have like some news coming out of that. I would assume, or at least some new stuff of All Stars and everything. But yeah, they are officially being welcomed into the group,
Yay.
which is real cool.
New friends.
New friends.
New friends. I've also seen people like wondering if they're gonna add more characters. I'm like, I don't know that I want more characters because this is already a lot to juggle. But because of the way the menu is built, people seem to think that that is going to be the case.
I mean, if for a gotcha game, you're gonna want to
Yeah.
cram as many characters as you want into this game. But
Yeah.
also, I guess like I wonder as well. Like they'll eventually have to add Liella into this.
Yeah.
So maybe let's go that route. But we will.
We'll find out.
We'll find out
Eventually.
eventually.
Not now.
It's exciting to see. Exciting times. Exciting
Yes.
to see.
Yes.
But yeah, that has been season 2 of School Idol Festival All Stars. We'll eventually come back and talk about season 3 and whatever else happens whenever that happens.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure that all out.
I will say that like all the new songs have been super good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Like-
they're killing it.
Like I wonder if the fact that there's a 12-person song now means that we're going to get a new album, because I don't think that song's in the new Trios album. So I wonder where that song is eventually gonna end up.
Yeah, where is it gonna land?
Yeah. But yeah. Cool times.
Yay.
Cool times. But yeah. That's gonna wrap this episode up unless you have anything else you want to say.
No, I'm being stood on.
Okay. Well, we'll get out of here so you don't get squished too much. So yeah. If you would like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool is where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Jared and Al Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you want more from Ann Ladium, go to annladium.com. She's got columns and reviews, or watch her on Twitch at twitch.tv/MEYDALENNA.
Madalena, yeah.
Spelling's hard.
Spelling is hard, especially because like
You have to think backwards.
you have to think backwards, and that's hard.
So yeah, follow her there if you want to watch her do streams and whatnot.
Chaos.
You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. You can buy our books, One Shining Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast early, and a whole wealth of bonus episodes as well. Next week will be an entirely new week.
And an entirely new, well, it'll already be an entirely new month by the time this comes out. But yes, it will be a new week. We'll figure out what we're going to talk about.
That is true. Also, happy birthday to my mom.
Happy
Today.
birthday, Jared's mom.